Hello, this is Brian Martin, the Director of Customer Success here at BizEquity. I am sort of the go-to contact person here for this New York Life pilot. What we're going to do today is go over the BizEquity solution. I'm going to run you through a use case, sort of like we did on the intro call in November. We'll also go over some tips for using the software effectively. And if you have any questions, feel free to throw it in the chat box. The call should take between 15 to 25 minutes, depending on questions. First things first, you'll log in at newyorklife.bizequity.com. I've logged in here as myself. And the first thing you want to remember is, the BizEquity tool is great for current business owner clients, and there's also the idea behind it being is how to attract new business owner clients. So, maybe a service to provide them to sort of break the ice and help position yourself as a trusted advisor. Obviously, moving forward for New York Life, the idea would be, to upsell life insurance and other insurance products that make sense for the client. So the first thing that we're going to go over today is what you would send out to an agent. I know this is the consultants on the call, so what you would send out to the business owner and include the agent on. So when you log in with your New York Life email address, there'll be a login button here. You'll click your name, click Company's Console. The smart link is what you have to send out. That ties it back to your console, so you're able to view the output. You're able to view, when someone goes in and finishes a business valuation, exactly what they see, or exactly what they filled out. You'll click the smart link button. Either link works here. You'll copy and paste it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through a valuation as if I'm a small business owner who has received the smart link. So I'm going to open it up in a separate browser here. So I'm not logged in. So I'm clicking what was this smart link. Now I'm presented. I'm not logged in on this browser here. And what it is I'm a business owner. I'm going to go through, fill out my financials, and then I'll show you sort of the next steps from there. We're doing a test business. So I'm going to type in beta. Ask for your zip code. I'm going to use my zip code here in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania. Now the first and one of the most important questions in the entire process here is going to be the industry code. So we're looking for the NAICS code. I'm going to spell it out on the screen, NAICS. But unfortunately, most business owners, no clue what their NAICS code is. What we've done here is we've made it a keyword searchable database. So if they're a restaurant, they would type in restaurant. It's going to pre-pop here. It's going to pre-populate code 72251. We have it for over 8,000 different industries. So that's the first step of 7. Clicking continue. If it recognizes a business with the name matching, it's going to ask you if this is a business you'd like to value. I'm doing a invented business, so I'm going to hit no. Now it's going to bring us to step 2. So step 1, what I wanted to mention about the NAICS code is, if you're familiar with business valuation at all, different industries have different multiples for how the business is valued. So it's very important to get that industry correct. Now, page 2, we've made some requirements for the New York Life pilot. We've made it required for a person to fill out their email address, name, and phone number before they move forward. The idea behind that being that we don't want them to go through the tool. As you can see, we're going to present them with an estimated value as the steps go forward. We don't want them to cut out the New York Life agent or the consultant that included them on this. So we want them to actually have to, be committed enough to provide contact information, because then it's somebody who, we've had some of the New York Life agents and some of our users in the past send this out to thousands of people. Generally, if someone goes past step 2, they're interested in business valuation. They may not complete the valuation, but it is a person that's worth, sort of dripping on and still marketing to. So it's going to ask you what type of business structure you have. Let's say this is an S Corp. So they use tax form 1120S, established in the year 2000. They have 41 employees. Now we have another question that's, please select your reasons for running a business valuation. Now, this question doesn't affect the valuation itself. What it is good for is it's good for the data collection purposes. So if somebody does navigate to this smart link, it gives you an idea of exactly sort of what they're looking for here. So let's just hit business valuation only. Now we're going to get into step 3. Step 3 is where we actually start entering the financials to value the business, and sort of where the solution here becomes pretty cool. So this is all about the income of the business. Any item that can come off of a corporate tax return is going to have this form icon here. Let me widen my screen so everybody can see it. So we're going to tell you exactly which line you can get that item from. As you can imagine, that's going to make the data entry process very smooth. Most business owners are not going to be as financially savvy as maybe an accountant or somebody who works full-time with financial data. So having these tips and where to get the items really speeds up the process and cuts down on questions that are asked. The other thing is everything that we have on our tool is defined. So every question, this is exactly what we're looking for. We do ask for 3 years of financials. We think we're the most accurate using 3. We can value a business with only 1. I'm only going to type in 1 just for the demo purposes today. As you can see, once you type in revenue and pre-tax income, you're going to start to see that counter up top move forward. Now that's one of our users' favorite features of the tool. It's very client-friendly, it's very TurboTaxy, and as you can see, it's going to change depending on the data that you put in. So let me make some adjustments just so you can watch it in action. And there we go. Now business value is going to drop a little bit, so the pre-tax income went down. Now I'm going to move on to step 4. One thing I want to make you aware of, and this is something that you can point out to anybody you send a link to, is you can always come back later. So if a business owner comes in, they get to the asset section, and they're like, I don't have my balance sheet with me, or my CFO is the one who would fill this out. They have the option to delegate this link. What that does is this emails a secure link to whoever they select. It allows them to come into this process and finish where it was left off. So maybe fill in the blanks. If it stopped on step 4, it allows them to come in and enter data. And they can also save for later. So this just works the same way if they want to email it to themselves. A business owner maybe has 15 minutes now. Maybe they want to come back into it another day or 2. One thing to be aware of, the the save for later and delegate feature, those links go bad after 7 days. Now, none of the data will be lost that was already input in those 7 days. However, we sort of want to promote urgency. We don't want, users out there, delegating this and kind of forgetting about it. So if a link goes bad, you can always come back in and send a new link, or we can do it for you here for the purposes of the pilot. I'm going to move on here to step 5, liabilities, last piece of raw financial data. So accounts payable. Most of this is going to come off the profit and loss balance sheet. As you can see, there's only one that comes off the actual tax return. Now we're going to move forward to the more subjective questions in the process. So projected revenue growth. This is, the more realistic a business owner is going to be here, the more accurate the reading is going to be. But there are a couple questions here that are really designed for the use of people in the insurance industry. And I'll get to those in a moment. Long-term EBITDA margin, let's say that matches growth. Percentage of business reoccurring, we did a restaurant. Do you have any intellectual property, including trade secrets or patents? I would imagine a restaurant, Eastern PA does not have IP. Move on to next steps. Now, what percentage of sales comes from your top 3 customers? Probably low in a chain restaurant. The owner of the business left, how would your profits and revenues be impacted? Now, here's a question designed for use by, insurance agents, because let's put it all the way to plummet here. We're going to watch the business value drop. The natural progression, from this question is going to be talking about a buy-sell agreement. That's sort of why the question was designed. It absolutely affects the value of the business, so it's in there for that reason. But this is one of those questions that can become a pivot point for those of you that are going to use this to help position insurance products. The other one that's tailor-made for insurance is, does your current life or key person insurance coverage and risk management program cover the business valuation quotation above? Doesn't matter if it's yes or no. That's a nice secret here. If you're underinsured, your business is still worth what it's worth. However, in our experience, 98% of business owners have no idea what their business is worth. This is the first time they're really seeing the actual value of their business. More than likely, their insurance is going to be either insufficient or overly sufficient, just because if this is the first time they've actually had the value of the business, how can they accurately insure it in the past? Let's say this business owner rents from an independent third party. Monthly rent is $5,000. They have a 6,500 square foot place. Now, we are complete. We've entered all of the data. And remember in the beginning, we logged in as a client here. So when I hit save and continue, I'm going to show you exactly what the business owner would see if they navigate through all of the steps. They would see, thank you for using BizEquity Valuation Tool. You can expect to receive a finalized valuation report via email shortly. We encourage you to contact your financial professional regarding its content. Now, for the purposes of this pilot, let me check the chat box, see if we've missed anything. Nothing yet. Purpose of this pilot, we at BizEquity are actually sending the business owner a PDF report of their business valuation. Let me go ahead and pull this up. And I'm just going to hit refresh here, go into my company's console. We're going to see the new company I just valued will appear because I used that smart link, so it's appearing in my console. So what we have here is, this is exactly everything we provide, and this is from the user's point of view. So when you would send this out, you would get that, and you would also receive a notification as the user. If somebody completed a 7-step process on your smart link, you're going to receive a notification email as well. Business owner is going to receive the PDF. Again, that's just for the purposes of the pilot. We don't usually send anything to business owners for our regular users. And I'm going to walk everybody through exactly what's in the company's console. So let's just review again. Your name, company's console. That's where you're going to get this smart link, and that's where any companies you value are going to live. Now, one thing to be aware of is if you're sending out several smart links and you haven't received an email saying somebody's completed evaluation, that doesn't mean they haven't started one. So it's a good idea to keep an eye on your console. If somebody stops in step 3, we're not going to say they've completed a business valuation, so we're not going to automatically send them anything. But at least gives you an idea of you have access to any of their data. So anything that they put in, you'll be able to review. So let's take a look at the console. So we have the equity value of the business. As the business value changes throughout time, you'll see this become a graph. We give you the ranking of where the business is ranked within its NAICS code nationally. So of 989,000 restaurants, the 19,000 most valuable. Green is where the business ranks in its NAICS code locally. So within its zip code, the second most valuable restaurant. Here's a review of that step 2. The forms, you can edit any of these if you need to. Maybe if you input the wrong amount of employees, just update that. Business owner contact information over here. Now, we have these key performance indicators, and this is where the tool can really become an engaging tool rather than just a sort of data delivery tool. You'll hear, if you ever speak with anybody at BizEquity, we don't expect our users to be business valuation experts overnight. So everything we have in here, we have defined. So we're going to let a business owner know in these 12 key performance indicators how their business is performing. You can click on it and take a look, and that defines what that means, which has been very helpful for users who are users of ours who really don't understand valuation all that much, but they want to provide it as an additional service. This helps them speak to valuable ways to help a business owner increase the value of their business. Purple means they're underperforming. Green means they're outperforming their industry average. As we keep scrolling, there's going to be a review of the financials here. If you have to update anything or add an additional year, that can be done within the console. You can adjust the sliders as needed as well. Now I want to show you what the evaluation report looks like. So this is what the client receives, and sort of in our company here, this is the end result. So this is it's branded New York Life, has the name of the user that presented it. So this would be you as your case in the user. The first few pages are all about valuation in general, our methodology, and some key terms. Page 6 is where it gets specific for the business owner. So we give the business 4 different values: equity value, asset sale, enterprise, liquidation. And again, just like the console, we're not expecting these business owners to be valuation experts. So we make everything, we give everything a definition. And we try to make it as simple to understand as possible. The differences in equity value, asset sale, enterprise, liquidation. As you keep scrolling here, there's going to be a review of the financials, kind of laid out nicely, side by side. Now, the key performance indicators, just like the different valuations, we're going to give the business owner, the definitions of what they are. So, return on equity. What does it mean? Why should it matter? Give me an example. All 12 of these key performance indicators are defined on here. What does it mean? Why should it matter? Give me an example. So this is a pretty comprehensive, look at a business using financials that they've provided, and metrics that they've given us, you as the user, us as BizEquity. But as you can see, it's extremely detailed, kind of very user-friendly. We get a lot of good feedback on the layout. And, in our experience, it's probably one of the most comprehensive things a business owner has been provided beyond a traditional business valuation, which is going to cost between $10,000 to $15,000 and take a couple weeks to complete. I moved pretty quickly through the tool, but you can imagine if you had all the financials handy, the business owner had access to their financials, it's going to be probably a 20 to 30-minute process. So that is an overview of the tool, sort of why we're using, why we created it, how to use it. Keep in mind, I'm videotaping today, so if you have any, or recording, I should say, there's no tape. If you have any questions or you want to see something again, I'm going to email everybody on the call after we break today. Any questions moving forward, Brian at BizEquity is my email. You can feel free to reach out. There's one more thing I want to cover today, and that's the search for prospects. So it's sort of the second prong of what the BizEquity solution is. And what this is the best way I can describe it is Zillow for small business contact information. So it's a Google map, very easy to navigate. Let's say you're in Boston, Massachusetts. You type in Boston. Now, anything that shows up on the map is going to show over here on the right. So this is obviously showing more than just Boston. It's including some of the suburbs. Zoom it in. Let's say you want to work with dental practices. So in industry here, I'm going to type in dentist. So now, there are 2,549 dental practices within this square of Boston and its suburbs. Let's zoom it in again. Let's only worry about the city. So now we have 691 dental practices within this square of Boston. Now I want to show you exactly what type of information we have on each of these businesses and sort of what you can do with that. And let's take a look. I'm going to type in value low. Let's only look at businesses we have free values over 600,000. Let's not type in anything high. That gives us 67. Sort of the way to start with this map is it can be overwhelming at times, as you saw. We just had 667 different people you could contact. I recommend trimming it down as much as possible, whether that's going to be just a certain section of your city. So you just want to zoom it into maybe just the south end of your Boston. And let's take a look at what we can provide. So just on the top one here, Suffolk Dental Group. We pre-value them at $864,000. Now this number, I want to be clear on what this means. This is not a number that's been run through our system with official financials. This is our estimate of what we think the business is worth based on publicly available data. So we aggregate about a dozen data sources, value what we think a business is worth. Now the one caveat to this number I want to make everyone aware of is revenue and pre-tax income is not very common public data for private businesses. It's just sort of the nature of private businesses. So those are the two most important factors when valuing a business. So, the data that we use, this guess is kind of, it's more than a shot in the dark, but it's definitely not something to take to the bank. But the reason we provide it is we just want to sort of help you narrow down businesses and give you and arm you with as much data as possible. The letter ranking, it represents how accurate and how confident we are that this is the correct contact detail. And sort of in the scheme of prospecting, this is, I think, 5 times more valuable as the accurate contact detail you can pull up in a sort of the snap of a finger. So we have key contact, title, telephone number, email address, website, 3 people and their corporation, established in 2003. Now, we're not going to have every piece of data for every business. I'm just going to click the second one here. We have them pre-valued at $1.4 million. No email address here, but we do have telephone number, the name. So the idea behind this is, we always recommend our users sort of get started with business owner clients that they already work with or already have a relationship with. That sort of gets them familiar to providing business valuation. But the next step beyond that is how do our users identify new sorry, my phone cut out there. How do our users identify new opportunities within their area? And sort of, like we talked about, or like I mentioned earlier, the map can be overwhelming. So focusing on specific areas. So maybe if you don't want to focus on a specific industry, but you want to focus on a specific part of town. I typed in West Lancaster Avenue, Downingtown, PA, a couple miles from my house. Let's zoom that out. You only want to look at the, you want to talk to all the businesses in this square. This is going to give you that list. So there's 13 matches. Zooming out a little bit further is going to give you more information. So let's do a quick review of what we talked about today. You'll, again, log in with your username. If you forgot your password, just type in your email and go through the forgot my password. Works like any website. We're going to email you a secure link to get in. So you log in at newyorklife.bizequity.com. Home is how if you were going to start your own 7-step process, you do it from home, or if you have the client in the room with you. More often than not, you're going to need that smart link. So I'm going to remember to click your name after you log in, company's console, smart link. This is what you will send to the agents in the field and the business owners that are going to be filling out the data. And the second piece of the puzzle here is search for prospects. That's the Zillow-like prospecting feature. We do have a success center, which is full of marketing material and other collateral we've created, not turned on for the pilot. So when you click on that, it's not going to go anywhere. So that's not a user error or an error on our part. It's just turned off for the pilot purposes. We had the pilot extended until March 15th this year. So we're looking forward to working with everybody. I am going to take a look at the questions now, and I'm going to send an email this afternoon with a video of today, just again a reminder of the smart link, and then you'll have my contact info. So moving forward, if you need any help sort of getting started with the tool, I'm more than happy to assist. Take a look at the questions. None so far, so I'll give it another minute. Otherwise, thanks everybody for attending, and look forward to working with you for the next few months.